There is this famous scholarship to study in German. Is one among the biggest. Is called Daad scholarship. But it's not Daad by D-A-D. It is Daad in terms of D-A-A-D. It is a German, which is like exchange program for people to go to study in German. It is the biggest because each year over 65,000 scholarships are awarded to the people from developing countries to go to study in Germany. So that's why it is among the biggest. Also, we'll talk in other videos about Chevening Scholarship, which will be opened next month, in the month of August, for people to go to study in England or United Kingdom. But that is not for today's video. We are going to talk about Daad or DAAD. Is the biggest because over 65,000 people are getting scholarships each year. What are the procedures to go about it? Who qualifies to apply? How do you apply for this particular program? So, I'm going to break down to you, to explain to you, to understand the procedures. I know this program because I've been following a lot of information about studying in Europe, and I have over 13 years of experience talking about scholarships. And 3 of my relatives, 2 of my brothers who are twins, studied their PhDs in German. One studied at Bremen, and the another one studied in Leipzig. And my sister also studied a PhD in German through Daad scholarship. So I know by every procedure, and also I know for my relatives who went through these particular procedures, and I have so many friends who have got this scholarship. So I hope this video will be useful to you. So, number 1, what type of education level does Daad scholarship offer? It covers graduate studies, and the graduate can be into 3 main areas, but mostly is 2, is master's degree and the doctoral studies. Postdoctoral, I'm not talking about postdoctoral studies on this particular case. But when we talk about the Daad scholarship, we are focusing mainly into 2. We are talking about the master's and the PhD. So, in order to apply for master's, you must have already completed your bachelor's degree. And if you're applying for PhD, it means you have already completed your bachelor degree, you have already completed the master's degree. And I will talk a little bit how to apply into the PhD, because you have to apply directly to the supervisor first. If the supervisor agrees to supervise you, then you can go through the application to the university. So, depending on the level, you must have either bachelor degree or master's degree with upper secondary class in terms of the general point average GPA. So you need to have a very good results. Then, from there, you have to know which universities and which programs are part of the Daad scholarships. And I will put the link of this particular video on the YouTube description so that you can be able to see the link. So the link will be able to provide the list of the programs which are offered and or are sponsored by Daad. That's number 1. Basically, almost all programs, any program you might think of, majority of the programs are offered or are sponsored by Daad. Then there are some of the universities which those programs are offered, and they are affiliated or are going to be a partnership with Daad to be able to give you scholarships. Because the steps are, you apply direct to the university. Once you apply, the university is going to admit you, and the university is going to recommend you or is sending you to the Daad committee. Each university, they have Daad team they'll be working on. And if the Daad is going to take on you, then it's going to contact you to finalize some of the steps of the Daad portal application. You'll go to finalize certain requirements on the Daad scholarship through the special Daad portal. You'll be able to go through and apply. Another thing you need to know, there is a requirement of work experience. You need to have at least 2 years of work experience. Yes, you have a very good GPA, general point average in terms of the results. You need to have a work experience of at least 2 years. So you cannot be able to graduate today and today you are going direct to apply for masters. It doesn't work that way. And when you say experience, it includes both paid work experience and unpaid work experience, but it has to be professional work experience. So those are the few things which are very critical to go about it. Again, what is the time for you to go to apply? The deadline. The deadline, you'll be able to go directly to the particular university because each university has a different deadline. There is no, this is the deadline for the Daad because some of the universities, their deadline is end of September, some of the deadline the end of December, some of the applications are in the end of August. So it depends on the university. Here I have, for instance, I'm giving example. Here I'll put the link also. For instance, I'm giving example. Let's say the master's program in international and development economics. That program, for instance, is given by the University of Berlin. And it is 17-month program without the German language. You'll be given also 6 months paid also to be able to do the German language. So the deadline, that one is 31st of August. For instance, if you want to do the Masters of Arts in Development Economics, it is University of Göttingen, or if you go small enterprise promotion and training, it is on the University of Leipzig. The deadline, it is on 1st of October. So the point of mentioning this one is for you to know that there is no one deadline which applies to every institution. So that is something you need to know. So we covered that one. Then it comes to the amount of the scholarship itself. If you are doing masters, at the master's program, you'll be paid 861 euro. So 861 euro is about 1,000 and some few change, maybe 1,100 US dollar. I haven't done the conversion into US dollar. So it will be about that one. Then, if you're doing PhD, you get eligibility higher. It is about 1,200 euro, something like that. I have to look on the exact number, but it's about that. So if you convert to the US dollar, it's about 1,500 US dollar. If you have a family, by family, you are married, there are certain ways on this particular scholarship they can give certain part of stipend, some sort of that, different from America where you are given a scholarship. Most of the American scholarships, they don't cover at all in terms of your dependent. Another thing which is very important here, I know you might ask, so if I have a full scholarship, will I be allowed to work? Will I be having authorization to work in terms of those 20 hours per week? The answer is yes, you are allowed to work. But this is very important for this particular scholarship with Daad. If you are going to work, if you get more than 425 euro, which is let's say if you get more than 450 euro, let's use that number, you'll be they are going to deduct a certain amount from your scholarship money. So if you are going to work, let's say you are doing masters, and the masters you are getting 861, and then on top of that you are going to work. If you work, you get 400 euro. They are not going to deduct any amount from your scholarship money. But if it's going to be more than 425, 450 euro, they are going to deduct a certain amount, not all, certain amount from your scholarship. So you have to know, if you're going to work, what amount you can be able to make. If you make more, what is going to happen in that particular situation. And also they are going to cover, there are certain things about insurance, they will be able to support that one. They will be also supporting in terms of the transportation or the fees, especially when we're going to the research, there are certain kind of tickets and all those kind of things that will be able to be covered. But when you are going to apply for the PhD, you have to know that PhD in Europe and Germany including, you are studying PhD by thesis, meaning you don't go to the class like when we are doing the masters with the coursework. You don't go to the class and the professor comes there to teach the bunch of people. No, it's just you and your professor. So for that particular case, if you are going to apply, you have to apply direct to the professor. You have to go University of Leipzig, go to the Bremen. If you are going to study political science, find the university, and the professors will find the list of professors at the particular university, and write to them with your plan, what you are going to plan to do. You are just high-level summary, like a small proposal, and recommendation letters, and to ask the professor to be able to supervise you. If the professor is agreeing with you, you are going to fill the paperwork after that for admission, and the Daad scholarship will be able to kick in after that. So that is the difference when you apply for the master's versus PhD. Masters, you apply directly to the university, but PhD, you start with the supervisor first, then you go to the university, then you will be going to be given the money with Daad. So, but there is also the Daad, which is called the in-country Daad. That means you are studying at the university. If you are from Nigeria, you'll be studying at University of Kano or Lagos or whatever they call Unilag. Is very interesting when you hear about the story about the Unilag. But also, if you are from University of Dar es Salaam or University of Sokoine or whatever university you are coming from, you have to make sure that whatever university you are coming from, you have to make sure that you have everything required to be able to accomplish your application. Other things for applications, they also need like recommendation letters, statement of purpose, examination for the English proficiency. You have to prove that. If you are taking the English from the British Council, which is International English Language Testing System, you have to get 6 as a score. If you are taking the TOEFL, Test of English as Foreign Language, which is the American version, you have to get 80 out of 120. So you have to know that you have to take the English proficiency test. So get ready and apply. So if you go there, make sure that you study and make sure that you go to represent your country very well. So those are some of the ways you can be able to apply. I'm going to put the links of these of every link, like overall, to understand the eligibility, outline, the deadline, the list of the universities, everything you need to know. You'll be able to see on the link on my YouTube channel. I have 2 YouTube channels, which is youtube.com/EBM Scholars, and then there is another one which is youtube.com/EBM Swahili. So you have to go to those particular 2 websites and you'll be able to apply, and you'll be able to learn more about Daad scholarship. But I will also, in a separate video, I'm going to talk about study in German for free. What if you don't want the Daad scholarship? Can you go to study in Germany for free, just like how I talked about going to study in Norway? And if yes, what are the procedures? And also, I'll be able to talk later in other videos, what are the differences on these particular countries when it comes to work authorization while you are working as a student, and if you finish studies, what are the requirements for you to continue to study in those particular countries. So thank you so much. I really appreciate. Again, this is Ernest Boniface Makulilo, EBM, talking to you from my home office here in Belton, Missouri, United States of America. Goodbye.